The cell is the basic unit of life in all living organisms. There are two main types, animal cells and plant cells. Both share common organelles that perform essential functions. The cell membranes act as a protective variable, controlling what enters and exits the cell. The nucleus contains DNA and directs all cells' activities. The cytoplasm is a hair-like substance where chemical reactions take place. The mitochondria generates energy through cellular respiration, making them a powerhouse for the cell. Ribosomes are responsible for protein production, found mainly in animal cells, help break down the waste and unwanted materials. Plant cells have an additional structure that differently them from the main animal cells. The cell wall, made of cellulose, provides an extra support and maintains the cell shape. Chloroplasma contains chlorophyll and carries out photosynthesis, allowing plants to produce their own food using sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide. The large center vacuole stores water, nutrients, and waste, helping maintain pressure inside the cell of structure stability. These unique features allow plants to grow upright and substances and sustains themselves through photosynthesis, whereas animal cells depends on the consuming of organisms in energy. Understanding these different help us to appreciate how both plants and animals' life function at the cellular level.
Now I'm going to talk about the characteristics of living things. First is cell, which is a living organism that is composed by one or more cells and is the basic unit of life. Metabolism is the chemical process to obtain the used energy to grow, reproduce, and maintain their functions. Homeostasis is that living things can maintain a stable internal environment even if when external conditions change. Response to stimuli. They can respond to environmental changes or stimuli, enabling them to interact with their surroundings. Growth and development. They grow and develop according to specific instructions coded in their DNA. Reproduction. Living organisms can reproduce either sexually or asexually to create new individuals. Adaptation through evolution. Over time, living organisms can adapt to their environments through the process of evolution. I'm going to talk about the difference between the prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Prokaryotic cells are small, simple, and lack of a defined nucleus and membrane-bound organelles, found in bacteria and archaea. They can reproduce rapidly and adapt quickly to various environments. In contrast, eukaryotic cells are more complex, containing a nucleus that protects genetic material. They form the building blocks of diverse organisms, including protists, plants, fungi, and animals, allowing for greater specialization and diversity in function.
History of microscope. The invention of the microscope was crucial to the development of biology, particularly in the discovery of cells and microorganisms. Early microscopes were invented between 16th and 17th century. The first known microscopes were simple magnifying glasses. In the late 16th century, Dutch eyeglasses makers Hans and Zacharias Janssen created the first compound microscope with two lenses. Around 1665, Robert Hooke used a microscope to observe cork and coined the term cells after noticing tiny compartments. Advancements by Anthony van Leeuwenhoek in the 16th century. Van Leeuwenhoek, a Dutch scientist, developed the high-quality single-lens microscopes. He discovered bacteria, protozoa, and sperm cells, calling them animalcules. Then Ernst Abbe, in 1873, contributed to optics, improving image clarity. and the electron microscope was developed in the 1930s, allowing scientists to see much smaller structures, such as viruses and cell organelles. Now, cell theory. The cell theory is one of the fundamental principles of biology, stating that all living organisms are composed of cells. In 1665, Robert Hooke observed the cork cells and introduced the term cell. Later, he discovered the microorganisms, revealing the existence of single-cell life. In 1830s, Matthias Scladen and Theodor Schwann proposed that all plants and animals are made of cells. In 1855, Rudolf Virchow added that all cells come from pre-existing cells, the biogenesis. Now, the three main tenets of the cell theory. All living things are composed of one or more cells. The cells is the basic unit of life. All cells arise from pre-existing cells. And now, the theory is that cells contain general material, that is DNA, and that it is possessed on during cell division. And now, to conclude, the invention of the microscope played a vital role in the discovery of cells, leading to the establishment of cell theory, which remains a cornerstone of modern biology.
Hi, I'm Camila, and I'm going to talk about the self-move substance in all of the membrane. There are two main types of cell transport, passive transport and active transport. Passive transport does not require energy because molecules move from a high to a low concentration following the concentration gradient. Diffusion small molecules, like oxygen or carbon dioxide, move across the cell membrane. Osmosis, the movement of water through the semi-permeable membrane, facilitates diffusion. Large or chain molecules, like glucose, need protein channel or carrier to pass through the membrane. Active transport requires energy because it moves substance against the concentration gradient, from a low to high concentration. Protein pumps, like the sodium-potassium pump, which transport ions using ATP. Endocytosis, the cell engulfs large particles in a vesicles to bring them inside. Exocytosis, the cell expels substance by releasing the vesicles to outside. In summary, cells use passive transports when no energy is needed and active transports when energy is required. These processes are essentials for life. See you in the next video, and I hope this information helps you.
Levels of organization. All bodily functions perform different tasks simultaneously. The most important thing is organization. The levels of cellular organization function like a set of matryoshkas, Russian dolls nested by hierarchical sizes. An example would be the organism, system, organ, tissue, cells, organelle, molecule, and finally the atom. Homeostasis is a psychological system of processes constantly measuring and compensating for changes in the outside world that could damage our internal systems. In humans, an increasing temperature causes sweating and a diversion of blood flow into the skin, aiding to heat loss. In the cold, shivering is triggered so that muscle activity generates heat and capillaries contract to divert blood to internal organs.
Teenage pregnancy. Teenage pregnancy poses serious health risks, including anemia, high blood pressure, premature birth, and low birth weight. It also brings emotional and social challenges, such as difficulty continuing education, financial instability, and increased stress. Lack of prenatal care can worsen this risk, making proper support essential for young mothers. Obesity. Obesity is caused by excessive body fat due to the poor diet, lack of exercise, or genetic factors. It increases the risk of disease like diabetes, health problems, and high blood pressure. In addition to physical effects, obesity can lead to low self-esteem and social stigma. Prevention through healthy eating and regular activity is key to maintaining health weight. Addiction. Addiction is a condition where a person becomes dependent on substances or behaviors, negatively impacting their health and daily life. It can lead to mental and physical health issues, relationship problems, and financial difficulties. Overcoming addiction requires medical help, therapy, and a strong support system to prevent long-term consequences.